Tonight, the Carolina Hurricanes are looking to finish the season sweep of the Tampa Bay Lightning and with some new power play units. We'll be discussing all of that in this episode of Locked On Hurricanes.
Your Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey there, Caniacs. I'm your host, Jared Ellis, and you are listening to Locked On Hurricanes on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And as always, thank you for making Locked On Hurricanes your first listen of this Tuesday afternoon. And don't forget to follow the show on Twitter at LO_Hurricanes, myself on Twitter at Jared Ellis_96, and subscribe to the show on YouTube. Now, diving into tonight's game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. As I mentioned, the Carolina Hurricanes are going for the regular season sweep over the Tampa Bay Lightning. The last game between these two teams was that 6-0 shutout victory right after the trade deadline. That was the one where Jesperi Kotkaniemi had 5 points, like 4 assists and a goal. So yeah, that's the last game between these two teams. But actually, an interesting thing is both of these teams' last game that they played was both losses to the Boston Bruins. The Lightning lost in regulation. The Hurricanes, of course, lost in a shootout. And actually, the Tampa Bay Lightning are on a 4-game skid right now. And in that skid, they have actually only managed 7 goals when they have been averaging over 3 goals a game all season long. So they're definitely struggling offensively right now. But let's be honest, it's the Tampa Bay Lightning. It could turn around at any given moment. Tonight could be that night. It could be their next game, whatever. So I'm not reading too much into that in terms of how many goals they've had in these last few games, because again, it could happen at any time. Heck, they still have Nikita Kucherov on the team, who has 102 points on the season, which I believe is third in the NHL right now. And so, it's again, I'm not reading too much into that, but with the Hurricanes, Sebastian Aho, he is on a 3-game goal streak now. He had that game-tying goal in that game against the Bruins, which ended up sending us to overtime in the shootout. So we're going to need him to continue to stay hot, continue to play like now the definitive top guy. There's no Andre. Sebastian Aho is the top guy now, and he's got to play like a top guy. And as a whole, over the past few games, he has been doing that. Again, the game tying goal in the game against Boston. You go to that game against the Leafs. After that goal that, in my opinion, probably shouldn't have counted. 30 some odd seconds later, he takes it on down, gives the Hurricanes the lead right back. So we're going to need a guy, that's doing stuff exactly like that, coming up clutch, whether it be a goal that shouldn't have counted for the other team, or, you're down, you need to tie it up or take the lead. Sebastian Aho, he needs to continue to be that guy for the Hurricanes tonight. And then Thursday against the Red Wings, and, on down the line with the regular season and the playoffs, he needs to be that guy. He needs to be the clutch guy now. And also, another guy that's really been standing out as of late has been Brady Shea. He's been spectacular as of late. He recorded his 16th goal of the season the other night against the Bruins. That he just keeps setting career highs in goals, assists, everything this year. So we need him to continue to do that. And I've been saying that ever since Andre went down, is that we need guys to step up and try to fill that void that he left. And Sebastian Aho and Brady Shea have been really big parts of that. And, one thing coming out of morning skate this morning was the power play units. They got a bit changed up. We're going to go ahead and talk about those now. And I really like these. And yes, the first unit especially, I really, really like. Given anything can happen between now at 11:14 a.m. and whenever game time is tonight. But these were the power play units on ice this morning. The first unit being Brent Burns, Shane Gostisbehere, Sebastian Aho, Marty Necas, and Stefan Nazin. I really like that unit. I think that is a very dangerous unit. Shane Gostisbehere has been, he came in, you know, really lighting the power play up, and it has seen an uptick since he got here, and I really like that. You remember earlier in the season, Steph Nason was our go-to power play guy for a stretch there, where it just seemed like every power play we got on, he was a threat to score. So having those two there, I really like, and then of course Sebastian Aho, Marty Necas, and Brent Burns there as well. That's awesome. That's an extremely deadly power play unit there. I'm really excited to see what that one can do tonight. That is going to be extremely fun to watch. And, I have a feeling that could be one that sticks around. Depending on how tonight goes, it could be one that sticks around for the remainder of the regular season to playoffs, depending on how it performs, because that one on paper is really freaking good, and I'm very excited to watch it. From what I've seen online this morning, a lot of people are excited about that one as well as the second one, with Brady Shea quarterbacking that one alongside Jesperi Kotkaniemi, Seth Jarvis, Jack Drury, and Tavo Teravainen. Yeah, I think, that one's gonna be interesting to watch as well with Tavo Teravainen there. I really want him to, be shooting the puck more. I feel like, Brady Shea, he's gonna be the guy setting stuff up. Tavo's going to need to unleash that lethal shot that we know he has. And, Seth Jarvis, I really wanna see him, succeed there. Yes, for Kotkaniemi as well. Yeah, those are some guys that's a good opportunity for, Kotkaniemi, Jarvis, and Drury. That's a really big opportunity. I really do hope that they can seize that opportunity and really take advantage of it, because that could be a very fun power play unit to watch as well. Given we're just gonna have to wait and see how both of these pan out. I'm very excited to see how the first one goes, because that is one that could really light up the score sheet, and that one's going to be very, very fun to watch. And again, the second one as well, it's nothing to scoff at either. And those three forwards there, Kotkaniemi, Jarvis, and Drury, that's going to be a big opportunity for them as well. I'm excited to see how these go, and hopefully, we're able to see these go out on the ice tonight. I know we've kind of had some issues before of things not getting called for the Hurricanes, and I'm really hoping that we are able to have power play opportunities tonight, because that's going to be a big thing tonight against Tampa. Because, again, you go back to that 6-0 win in the previous game. Again, that was a while ago, so I'm not going to read too much into that. But special teams were really showing up in that game. And then also, again, I'm not putting too much stock into it with the way their offense has stagnated as of late. But if that trend were to continue into tonight's game, you really are going to want to take advantage of your power play opportunities and build a lead even more. And when you have a power play unit, especially like that first one, that is so, at least on paper, appears extremely deadly, you're going to want to take advantage of those things. And I'm very excited to see how that stuff pans out. I think it's going to be really, really fun. And this is going to be, more of the same of what we've been seeing from the Hurricanes as well. It's arguably playoff hockey. I know it's still regular season right now, but you're going against, some really tough teams. You went against New York Rangers. They clinched last night. You went against the Boston Bruins. They've already clinched their division. They're probably going to clinch the President's Trophy before too long. You're going against the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight, and you're going against you went against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They've clinched. You're going against these really tough playoff teams, and while I don't think Detroit is going to make the playoffs, I think they kind of fell out of that race, and but they're a team that they're going to be out there to just ruin the Hurricanes' chances. And because the Hurricanes have clinched a playoff spot, but they have not clinched the Metro Division as of yet. And the Wings, they're gonna want to just mess the Hurricanes up, you know? And yeah, because the Wings, yeah, they're out of it at this point. They're not mathematically eliminated, I don't believe, but yeah, they're not gonna make the playoffs. And yeah, they're just gonna be out to ruin the Hurricanes' day. And yeah, the Hurricanes are really going to need to be on top of it. They again, they got the Lightning tonight, and then you know excuse me, then Detroit, then Montreal, and then you got the Islanders again, you got Ottawa, Nashville, Buffalo, Ottawa, Detroit again, and then the Florida Panthers again. So, you're coming out of this like really tough stretch, but the teams that you're playing against, they're not just going to roll over, and they're still going to go out there and play. So, and again, like Detroit, the immediate upcoming game, they're going to want to ruin the Hurricanes' day. So the Hurricanes really need to be on top of this game tonight so they can continue to give themselves more of a cushion over the New Jersey Devils, and then, in the game against the Red Wings and so on and so forth, because they do still have that 3-point cushion. As of right now, the Hurricanes are at 47, 16, and 9 at 103 points. The Red Wings and that is with 72 games played, mind you. The Devils are at 74 games played at 46, 20, and 8 and 100 points. Then the New York Rangers as well, third in the Metro at 73 games played and 43, 20, and 10 and 96 points. So, the Hurricanes, they got a little bit of a cushion, but they need to extend that. They need to come away with at least a point in tonight's game. I prefer it be two and not deal with, overtime and potentially a shootout 2 games in a row. But they need points. They need to have that cushion there, for they can clinch the division, have home ice advantage, and then, if, they drop a game or something, there is that cushion between them and New Jersey. Because they could lose tonight. New Jersey wins their next game, boom, New Jersey's 1 point behind. We don't want that. We don't want that. We want to have home ice advantage. We want to have that cushion there. I want to go ahead and get them. I know it's going to be a minute before they clinch, the division, because they're not as far ahead as the Boston Bruins are in their division. But I really want the Hurricanes to have that home ice advantage, and it's going to start with these games right now of getting these points to have that, to be able to have home ice advantage, because again, you don't have Andrei Svechnikov in on your team anymore. You don't have Max Pacioretty, and you're gonna need as many advantages as you can get, and home ice advantage for the Hurricanes is big. So they're gonna need to win this game tonight, next one against Detroit, and so on and so forth to build that cushion. They need the points. Yes, they've clinched the playoff spot, but they need to clinch that division as well. But we need to dive into the keys for tonight's game. We've already kind of talked about the power play some, but we will dive into the rest of the keys of the game right after this quick break, folks. Folks, if you're wanting to bet on tonight's game, if you're wanting to bet on the next game against the Red Wings, whatever it may be, FanDuel is the place to do it. And the Final Four is heating up right now, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. That's because right now FanDuel is giving new customers a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Just go to fanduel.com/locked on and sign up today to claim your no sweat first bet. Then you can wager on everything from the money line to point spreads to which team will be cutting down the net. All that on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So you don't want to miss your shot at your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 when you join FanDuel today. Just go to fanduel.com/locked on to sign up. That's fanduel.com/locked on. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Now, folks, diving into the keys for tonight's game. Again, special teams, obviously going to be big. We talked about the new look power play units, and just to quickly run down those again, with the first unit being Burns, Gossespierre, Aho, Natchez, and Nazen. The second unit being Shea, Kotkaniemi, Jarvis, Drury, and Tara Vinen. Those are going to be very fun to watch. Again, that first unit especially looks very, very deadly, and I'm wanting to see those guys capitalize on those special teams opportunities. And speaking of opportunities, a big issue of the Hurricanes as of late has been the amount of opportunities that they are giving up to opposing teams. They have got, they have and I cannot stress this enough. They have got to cut that out. And I get, all right, mistakes are going to happen in games. I get it. You get it. Everyone gets that mistakes are going to happen, but the amount of opportunities that they have been giving other teams has got to stop. You go back to that game against Toronto. Yeah, they won that game 5-3, but the expected goals was Toronto 6, Carolina 2. Okay, they cannot give up so many good opportunities. And that's going to also tie hand in hand with tightening up defensively and not having so many lanes get open for other teams. That's going to be especially important tonight because we all know how good Tampa Bay is opening up a team and creating those lanes and getting to the net. We can't do that tonight. The Hurricanes are going to have to play a really tight defensive game. They're also going to have to be very aggressive on offense. Yeah, we've, talked about, how the Lightning have struggled as of late offensively, but again, that can change at any time with that team. And the Hurricanes are really going to need to be on their A game offensively because, and defensively, of course, but we know how Tampa's offense can be, and we got to be ready to match that because it could happen at any game. You're not gonna have another 6-0 shutout tonight. You're not gonna have that again. That'd be one thing I'd be willing to guarantee with this game. You're not gonna have that again. So the Hurricanes need to be on their A game offensively and defensively as well. Again, special teams, as I mentioned, gotta have that being ready to go. And big thing is I look at that game against Toronto, how they had that 2-0 lead early, and then it just feels like, all the momentum was lost. Toronto took it all, from that second half of the first period and the entirety of the second period. The Hurricanes really need to come out fast and don't let up because, again, Tampa is a team that can take over a game at any given moment. The Hurricanes need to come out fast. They've again, scored, first, so many times this season. They are, what are they? They are 36, 5, and 4 when scoring first this season. That is second in the NHL behind only the Bruins. So they need to keep that up. They need to come out fast and go ahead and put all that pressure on Andre Vasilevsky and don't give them anything. And whenever you are putting that pressure on, all right, you get another 2-0 lead like you had against Toronto. Don't let up and play that full 60 minutes. Don't start to sit back. Don't get cute. Don't try to do too much because we've seen that a lot with this team, not only this season, but just in seasons past of they get content with a lead and then they lose it. We can't have that tonight. And we can't have that for the rest of the regular season and the playoffs, but we don't want that tonight. And play that full 60 minutes. If that means, hey, you beat them 6-0 again, then you beat them 6-0 again. But you've got to be playing that full 60 minutes. That's going to be really, really important for them tonight. And I'm really hoping that they stick to that. I think they will because of just, the lack of Andrei Svechnikov and Max Pacioretty. They're going to have to. But again, we've seen where it hasn't been the case. But another thing that I think is probably the most important thing for this game is you're going against the Tampa Bay Lightning. You need to play a full, complete team game. We've seen what this team can do when everyone is out on the ice doing their job. Forwards, defensemen, power play, penalty kill, goaltending, all of it. We've seen what they can do when everything is clicking and firing on all cylinders. That's what they need tonight. They need to be playing a full, complete team game because I cannot stress it enough. We all know how quickly Tampa Bay can take over a game, and this game could easily be over in the first period if the Hurricanes aren't playing a team game, if they're giving Tampa too many opportunities, if their special teams is showing up. If all of these keys aren't happening, Tampa can have this game in the bag in the first, because again, yeah, they've lost 4 straight. They've only scored 7 goals in those games, but it's Tampa Bay. You snap of a finger, they're back to, the Tampa Bay we all know and hate. So, the Hurricanes, they've got to not give up so many opportunities. Special teams has got to show up. They've got to play a tight defensive game. They've got to come out fast, create pressure, get pucks on net, play the full 60 minutes, and most importantly, play a full team game. But they do all that, they're winning the game or at least getting a point out of it. Now, we've talked about the new power play units. Now it's also time to dive into the projected lineup for tonight because we did get to see a bit of what we'd be looking at morning skate this morning, and we will dive into that right after this quick break, folks. All right, folks, it's time to dive into the lineup for tonight. Now, it let me double check just to make sure they haven't dropped an official one yet. And they have not. So we're going to be going off of what Hurricanes team reporter Walt Ruff posted from this morning at morning skate. In net, it is looking to be Pyotr Kochetkov, which no surprise there. As a whole, they've been operating on that every other game thing for the goalies, with the exception, I forget what game it was the other day, but that's kind of what they've been sticking to. So no surprise here tonight when it comes to that. Pyotr, he's coming off of that 41 save performance against the Tampa Bay against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, all good stuff there. Hopefully he can continue that momentum. Really, my only thing for him is I just want him to continue to keep his emotions in check. Let's not, get too heated. He's been good about that since, he's came up to the NHL. But again, that is, something there, that was an issue there right before he got called up. So wanted to see him do that. But, as a whole, pretty confident in his game tonight. Now in the forwards are looking like this. Yes, Rafast was not on the ice, so we could potentially see some changes, but this is what we are looking at practice this morning. Martinook, Aho, and Natchez, Jarvis, Kotkaniemi, Nazin, Teravainen, Stahl, Puljujärvi, Drury, Stastny, Stepan. Now, again, yes, Rafast could totally slot back in the lineup there, but I have not heard of him being hurt or sick or anything like that. So I would imagine everything would be okay. I think, the one thing that would change would be Stastny or Stepan coming out of the lineup. And then Puljujärvi, going back down to the fourth line. And then maybe, I think, Nazin there on that second line. I think that's fine. I got no issues with that at all. But we'll dive into the lineup from last game as well. But that was what we were looking at practice this morning. I don't see any of those really sticking, with the exception of maybe like the top 2 lines. I think there will be some shuffling come official game time. I think it may end up being a bit similar to what we saw the other night against Boston, with it being, Teravainen, Aho, Natchez, Nazin, Kotkaniemi, Jarvis, Martinook, Stahl, Foss, Drury, Stepan, Puljujärvi, or Stastny. I think, it'll be more similar to a regular lineup. And, but also, are coming off, a loss. Maybe Brind'amour tries to change things up, but again, he's kind of one that tends to stick to stuff a little bit. I think it'll be more in line with that second lineup there from the game against Boston. I think that's what we'll probably be seeing, but again, we won't know until game time or when the Hurricanes decide to, release a projected lineup for tonight. But then on the defensive sides, we know what that's going to be. That's going to be Slavenberg, Shea Pesci, and then Gostisbehere, Chatfield. That's what that's going to be on the defensive side of things. And Kochetkov and net. Really, the only question marks are what's it going to be forward wise. Again, I kind of like what they were rolling with at practice. I know some people may not like that, but it's interesting. Again, I think it was definitely just, practicing with Jesper Foss not being there. But again, we won't know until we know later on tonight. But I'd be willing to put money on it'll be more like what we saw there against Boston. I think his Stastny would likely be the odd man out when and he'll be the guy up in the press box, and Stepan will be the one down there on the ice. That's what I would do, but we're just going to have to wait and see. And in the meantime, make sure you are following Locked On Hurricanes on Twitter and Instagram at LO_Hurricanes, myself on Twitter at Jared Ellis _96. And make sure you're subscribed to the show on YouTube and you have those notifications on for when new episodes go up. And I will talk to you guys in the next episode. And as always, let's go Canes.